Okay, well, in another hand, what would you say as an entrepreneur and founder of a company to the young people to make them, to motivate to be entrepreneur?
I mean,
what's your experience?
I think they should absolutely do it. Entrepreneurship is, yes, it's risky, right? There's no guarantee that it will be successful. But even if it fails, you learn so much. You build confidence, you gain a lot of experience very rapidly, you solve many different problems that you won't solve in a regular job. And I think, so that even if the startup fails, your career will succeed, right? Your experience will be very valuable to the next thing that you do. So I think in this day and time, I mean, entrepreneurship is, for an individual, it's a great opportunity to learn and experience and grow in confidence. But I think also for the entire society, entrepreneurship, generates so much value. It generates so much prosperity, right? I think, as we know, Silicon Valley is all about, it's just an entrepreneurship miracle. And it takes, it takes very little capital, but it's the power of ideas and hard work and innovation, right? That it takes very little input, but so much more output, right? And that's how wealth gets created, in any society. And frankly, I think even in Mexico, I think there's a lot of natural entrepreneurs. Every small business stand, right? You see so many individuals in the informal sector. In a way, they're entrepreneurial. They may not be tech entrepreneurs, right? But they kind of try and run their own businesses. It's just that if you have a little bit more know-how or a little bit more training or experience, then you can aim for much bigger ideas and opportunities, right? So there's a natural entrepreneurial instinct, but I think if they focus a little more on tech, because there's starting a restaurant, it's hard and it's a lot of work, but it's not very differentiated, right? There's so many of them. On the other hand, if you create some new breakthrough technology, then it can have a huge impact worldwide and create a lot of value. So I think it's but it's happening. I know some Mexican entrepreneurs that have done really well both here and in Silicon Valley. So I'm sure it's going to happen.
What was the worst moment that you had in all this way?
Oh, there's so many. It's very hard to choose. We've had, I've had, near-death experiences, meaning we almost ran out of capital, right, where we would have to shut down the company. We had, financial crisis in 2001, 2008, and, 2020 as well. And in each of those crises, sometimes you have to let people go, right, which is very difficult personally. You have to change strategy, or sometimes what you're working on completely fails, and then you have to pivot, right? Change direction, do something very, very different. So I think all of those, but I think that now that I step back and think about it, the entrepreneurial journey is never a straight line, right? It's sort of lots of crooked turns along the way. And every one of these things, right? The important thing is, yes, you fail, but you fail forward, meaning you learn from your failure so that the next time it can be better, right? And you keep going. You can't worry about this too much. You just have to deal with it, but it makes you a lot stronger.
And what would you say is the best lesson that you've learned?
Maybe I'll say, two things. One is just dealing with your own psychology, right? You sometimes, if you're too happy when things are good or too sad, when things are bad, that sort of emotional roller coaster is not a good thing, right? So you kind of have to be, balanced, just manage your own psychology, where if good things happen, you have to say, okay, what might go wrong? And if bad things happen, you say, it's okay, it's not too bad, we'll fix it and improve, right? So just managing that. And maybe the other thing I'll say is, grit and perseverance, right? You have to kind of keep going. Even if failure happens along the way, that's just part of the journey, and you have to learn from it, keep improving. Yeah.
You're right. Well, thank you very much for this time and interview.
No, thank you very much for your questions, and really enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you.